Jason Sterling, and this is the launch of Lovestruck. Not really, of course, but it feels like the launch, the leak was so big. There was a leak. Did you hear there was a leak? There was a leak for the new expansion pack from The Sims 4 called Lovestruck, a romance theme pack. And we know basically every single thing about it because there was a massive leak online from, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, so my apologies, but like Ana Diaz maybe is how you pronounce that. I'm going to put his Twitter handle here on the screen, and I'll try to remember to put it in the description as well, so you can check him out on Twitter. If you like leaks, if you like finding out things in advance, he's your guy, at least so far. He still is, or girl. I really don't know if it's a guy or a girl. I say guy because I'm a guy and I'm, a guy-centric, but it could be a girl for that matter. So anyway, Lovestruck has dropped. There was a whole list of features. Well, there's 11. That's a list. There's 11 new features broken into 4 categories for this new pack. We're going to take a quick look at these and kind of go through some thoughts on it. Now, I will say, I hate trying to judge everything too early because it's really hard. A lot of things that don't look that great on paper turn out to be pretty good, and vice versa. Things that look really good on paper turn out to kind of suck in games. So we're going to kind of look it over, though, and at least have a few thoughts about what is this pack, this Lovestruck pack. Okay, the very first category is match. That's where you're going to find your match to fall in love with, right? And the big thing here is something called like Cupid's Corner, which is going to be an in-game dating app. Now, I personally don't think like that's a big, huge, stunning feature. I think it's a relatively minor feature to put that sort of matchmaking tool into the game because it's basically just going to be text-based. You're going to see pictures of Sims and maybe you're going to choose one, or they're going to send you some sort of random contact, right? Like, hey, let's go out or something like that. Much like we've had in the Sims games in the past. But the really interesting thing here, the really big deal about this is that you're going to have access somehow, well, through the internet's how. So you're going to have to be online, but you're going to have access to like all the Sims in the gallery, not just the Sims that you have in your library already or that are in game like NPCs, but all the Sims like in the gallery. Now, at last count, that was millions, literally millions upon millions of Sims. So I have no idea how this is going to sort that. How is it going to sort by the Sims on the gallery? I mean, obviously you're going to have certain, specifications that you have put into place for a potential mate for your Sim in the game. But there's got to be literally thousands, of Sims online that are going to kind of, or in the gallery, that are going to fit that definition. Now, my big fear is what we're going to end up with the most popular Sims, right? So your big name creators, the big people that are on the gallery are just going to get bigger, right? Because that's who's going to always pop up, or kind of Sims that they've created that you can download into your game if you want your Sim to make a match with them, right? That's my fear, because that would be the easiest route to go, would be a popularity contest. I hope that's not the case. I won't be surprised if it is. I really won't. Now, the next thing is a create a date system. So when you get ready to go on a date now with this pack, you'll be able to kind of specify what you want to do on the date, not just where you're going, but what you want to do. So I guess an example would kind of be if you're going to go swimming on your date, like you want to go to the swimming pool, it's going to maybe put things up that tie into what is available to do at the pool, I would think. That's what I think. So it might be like dive together or swim together or back float together or something like that. Something that's going to realistically tie into the date as you want to have it and as you want to set it up. Sounds like, and I think it is a good idea because I love setting my own parameters. I love to control the game and do it my way. So that's a very good idea. The other thing that kind of tied into this was that from now on, Sims won't interrupt you in your date when you're on your date. Now, I have not ever had a real big problem with that, with Sims coming up and kind of interrupting. So I'm not sure how, useful that is or viable that is, but okay, it is a feature. It is listed as a feature there. And one thing I'm worried about with that is, but let's say you're on a date and you're already married, or you already have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a significant other, and that significant other happens to be there or show up. I mean, you want them to interrupt your date, right? You're going to want them to come up and throw a big fit and have a big scene and slap you across the face or something. If we're getting a really good pack, a really good pack you are. So yeah, I hope when it says no one's going to interrupt, that's not too hard of a fast rule. The other thing is, if you're someone who's having problems with that, I hope it actually works, because it sounds like the sort of thing they would tell you it would work, right? It'd be like, hey, Sims aren't going to play musical chairs at dinner anymore. And then they still play musical chairs at dinner. Okay. And last under this particular segment is flirting and romance interactions. Now, this was my take my money moment. Take my money. I'll give you $40 just for this. And it's like the woohoo blanket. No, I think it's actually a picnic blanket. It's like a little romantic blanket. You can go have a picnic, and I don't know what all you're going to do on the blanket, but I know that what you can do is woohoo on the blanket. And that's the important thing, because you can throw the blanket into your inventory, and then you can take it anywhere. And all of a sudden, everywhere is a potential woohoo location, right? Not just a bush, not just a closet, not just a shower at university. No, everywhere is a potential woohoo location. So I'm saying genius moment on that one. I'm going to give Maxwell a big high five on that. And I love it. I love it already. I haven't even seen it. And I love it already. All right. And we also have something called an adult costume box, which I think is going to be kind of like an adult novelty, right? Costume type of box. So there's a picture, of course, and we have a picture of a fireman in front of a fire, ba-bum-ching, of course, in front of a fire, and he's there to put out your fire, right? He's there first to light your fire and then put out your fire. And so I'm guessing that's kind of what that is for the sort of, adult sort of like role play type of stuff. Now, there's also games. It says there's also games. I'm hoping they're going to really be something, serious, not X-rated, because this is still a T for teen game, and it's not going to be X-rated. But I hope it is something serious and not just something kind of silly and like an 11-year-old's idea of romance, right? An 11-year-old's idea of what you do when you're romantic. The Sims can get kind of slapsticky like that sometimes. They can kind of corny with the humor, and it's fine. There's going to be a little bit of that, and I get that, and that's fine. I hope it's not too much. I hope that somehow that part of it's going to be mature enough to be realistic. Not X-rated, mature, grown up. Okay, now our next section is called connections. The very first thing listed here is going to be something called romance dynamics. Now, I guess there are 4 different categories of this. You have wholesome, steamy, strained, and the last one is unpredictable, right? Unpredictable. So if it's wholesome, that means you're really in love. If it's steamy, you're kind of just there for the physical stuff, right? And if it's strained, well, you're probably just on the verge of not being in romance anymore. And if it's unpredictable, I guess it's going to shift back and forth, kind of like love you, hate you, love you, hate you, love you, hate you type of stuff. Now, this is okay. I don't think this is much of a feature. I think it's going to be something like, when you look and it has a little smiley face and it says best friends, right? On your kind of like personality profile down there on the UI, right? I think that's really all it's going to be. I don't think this is going to be that big a deal. And I think really you should be able to tell how your Sims are feeling to each other and what they're doing, what their stance is to each other just by their interactions with each other and how they treat one another. I don't know that I really need to pull up the profile part of it. I don't need to click on my friend's profile or my boyfriend's profile or whatever and have it say that our relationship is strained, right? But I think that's all it's going to do. I do think that's all it's going to do. And I think that's a little bit of, it's fine. It's fine. It's there. I don't really consider it a feature. Now, a little bit more of a feature underneath this section is turn on and turn offs. I'm going to have to wait and see exactly what they come up with this. I do think we're looking at something of just a retool of likes and dislikes, right? And so you're going to choose the things that turn you on and turn you off, or that you like and dislike about other Sims instead of yourself, right? So I'm going to be real curious, because our like and dislike system right now is fine. It's good. It's good enough. But how would that really be to apply that to other people? Is it going to feel kind of bland? Like, well, a turnoff for me is they like the color red. I mean, I'm worried that's what we're going to get. Or a turnoff for me is that they like cake. And I don't like cake. So if they like cake, well, that's a turnoff. I hope it's not stuff like that. But what I worry about is it is going to be stuff like that. And it is going to be kind of bland because I'm worried they're not going to want to offend anybody, right? They don't want to do like previous iterations. I don't think they will. Now, maybe I'll be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But I don't think they're going to do things like previous iterations and do stuff like, I don't like fatness, right? Or I don't like thinness or something like that. I mean, that's what they actually said. I believe it was The Sims 2 where that was, where you could put a turn off was fatness, right? So I'm worried that they're going to be concerned about offending anybody. And so I'm kind of concerned about turn offs and turn ons for that reason. It could be a neat system. It could be really fun to play around with and see how it works. Fingers crossed. Because if fingers crossed works, and it does work, and it's not just something like, well, my turn off is goth fashion, right? If it is something like age, and then maybe the sim you're involved with ages up before you age up, or vice versa. Let's say you age up before the sim you're involved with ages up. Are they going to stop liking you as much, right? Is their feeling towards you going to drop? Because if everything else is equal, but suddenly your sim's a little bit older. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at that star. What's his name? Oh, Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm looking at you, buddy. Because when your sim ages up, you're going looking for another sim. So is that going to happen in game? Because I'm thinking that might happen in game. I think that would be cool if it happened in game. Your sim ages up and suddenly the sim that your sim is involved with in game, they're a little cold on you, right? They're a little cold on you, man. Old man, they don't want you no more. Now, maybe once they age up, that would change. I don't know. But I think it would be interesting to see that. That's one part that I'm kind of hopeful for. The last thing under this category is 2 new traits. It's like, I actually don't remember the names. They'll be here on the screen, but basically it's like enthusiastic for love or unenthusiastic for love. So it's like you're going to fall in love easily, more easily, or you're going to fall in love less easily. It's going to take more work. That's the 2 new traits. That's what it boils down to. Basically, I'm just kind of quoting what was written there. They're okay. They're fine. Traits are never my big thing. Like I've never bought a pack because it had new traits in it. Let's just be clear. Never once. Never a single. And this one I'm not going to buy because it has 2 new traits in it either. Don't we kind of have stuff like this anyway? Where a sim maybe won't be friends with you as much or be as interested in you romantically already based on kind of your traits or how you interact with them. Not your traits, not stuff that's built in that they wouldn't know if you didn't talk to them or interact with them. But like if they don't like humor, right, and you're telling a bunch of jokes, they're not going to be as interested in you already. So yeah, it kind of feels kind of, I don't know, superfluous, like we already have it. Now, of course, being a romance pack, we're going to have a new romance skill. I don't know. This is another one. They're listing out these features, and to me, this is not much of a feature. Romance skill. Okay, it's a 10-level skill. There's certain new perks that come along with each level. They don't really go into what those perks are, so my guess is that they're not really that big a deal, right? They're not really. That's my guess. I don't know that. Maybe they are, but they didn't list them out, that's for sure. The only one they really listed was the final perk, and if you get to level 10 romance, then you're going to have a flirty aura about you, and it'll make everyone around you more flirty just by being in your presence. And so I'm not even sure I want that to be the case. I'm not sure I want for that to always happen like that, but that's kind of, if you max out the skill, that's what you get. It seems to me like it's just a new way to measure kind of what we're already doing anyway when it comes to romance in the game. I don't know. I don't get it. If we get more information on it and it seems like a bigger deal than it is and a better deal than it is, then maybe it counts more as a feature. I don't really count it. Now, one good thing is, though, it does apply to teens as well as adults. So if you want your teens to kind of start on the path of romance, you guys, with other teens, mind you, it's not that sort of game. If you want them to start on the path of romance with other teens, they can kind of start that skill early, right? We have 2 new aspirations, right, to go with our 2 new traits, I guess. One is like romantic explorer, right? Romantic explorer, which to me basically sounds like your sim's kind of pansexual. Again, not really needed. We don't really need that as a trait. Our sims will act that way if we just play them that way. But okay, now we have an official designation. We have an official label for it, you guys. I don't know if we need any more labels in the world. We have so many labels in the world, but we have another label in Sims now for it. And I'm going to call it, it's called like Romantic Explorer. I'm reading at it right here. It's basically pansexual. The other one was Paragon Partner. I wrote that one down too. Paragon Partner to me sounds like polyamorous, right? So the idea is you're going to have, you can have romantic relations with more than one person. Now, can that person live with you in the same household? Will the person you're with be okay with it? I guess that's sort of the stuff that's going to play into these dynamics, right? You're going to need to find another sim that also feels that same way. Then find a third sim that feels that same way, and the three of you together can have that sort of feeling all together, right? All together. Now, I think that's really cool. I do really think that's cool. If they basically have written it into the game, that you can have these polyamorous relationships now, these sort of thruples, right? Or quapples, or however many people you want to bring into it. It's the 21st century, you guys. You live your life, or you live your fantasy right here on The Sims. I'm all for that. I'm no shade from me, and I'm glad that they finally codified that right into game right there. I do think that's what it is, and that's actually a good feature. I'm going to count that as a feature. That is a feature, and I'm glad to see that one put into the game. Now, one thing I wish I could be glad that they were putting into game is this romance career. It is like a romantic consultant career. And that sounds good, doesn't it? That sounds like that could be fun. That sounds like that could be cool. But it's a rabbit hole, of course. Now, they've switched it from the name rabbit hole to the name off-screen career. Very clever. I don't know if that's a Max's thing or an EA thing, but it's so clever there, right? We're not going to call it a rabbit hole because there's been so many rabbit holes in the game here lately. So we'll call it off screen. Well, I'm just so fucking impressed. I just can't hardly believe it. Goddamn, marketing is just, they're AAA today. I hate it. I hate it. No, it sounds like a good idea, but I hate like off-screen careers. I never play them. I don't ever. I play either the active careers from Get to Work, or I just make them paint or make jewelry or do stuff like that. Other sort of like careers we have, like a vet, right? Whatever. So that's what I have my Sims do. I don't want to send them off screen to go to their career. And chances are this is going to be like other rabbit holes where maybe you'll get a chance card or something and it'll say, hey, you're at work and Joe Blow over here, your client, he feels like he's not having any success with the ladies. Should you tell him A or B selection? You know, do you want to tell him to do A or tell him to do B? And then you'll select one and then it'll come back with, oh, Joe Blow tried that and everybody hated it. And he went home and cried and it's all your fault and blah, 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 right? I mean, I don't want to do that sort of gameplay. I don't like text-based games from 1988. So I don't want to get too soapboxy on this, but yeah, I think it could be good, but they ruined it by not making it active. There's 10 levels to it. There are 10 levels, and I guess each level is going to give you some sort of perk after the fact, right? You're going to get some sort of perk after you pass the level, just like some of the other sort of careers, right? So you get like a new suit or something. Or in this case, it mentioned like heart-shaped office decor. You also will get some new interactions that you can do outside of work. So I guess that's a little bit cool. Is that supposed to be kind of a half and half active, half off screen? I really don't think it is, but you'll get these interactions. I'll list them here. You know, they're on this piece of paper here. They're on the screen now. It's just a general sort of thing. I mean, with me, if I really want to do those actions, if they look cool, and I might play this a little bit just to see what it's like. But if they look cool, I'm probably going to just cheat. I'm probably just going to cheat the career, cheat myself to level 10 just to get the actions or the interactions. And then the stuff that comes along, I'm going to just cheat that too. I'm going to go into build buy mode, cheat open the thing, get my stuff, right? Get the stuff I want. And not do that career because I don't consider rabbit holes gameplay, and they are relying on them way too much. Okay, our third section is called Discover. Basically, this feature, I think, is pretty much just the world, right? The new world, but the first thing they kind of highlight here, let's call it highlight. The first thing they highlight here as a feature is the world. It is. It's Lovely Lots. It's called Lovely Lots and Meet and Mingle. And basically it kind of talks about the world a little bit. There are 13 lots in this world, which is not huge. It's not large, but it's larger than we got, like last time, right? 13 lots, 2 of them, which is one thing I really love. I really love this. I'm glad to hear this. 2 of them are penthouse lots. I don't know why they don't use those more often. We should have had a penthouse lot or 2 in Del Sol. There's lots of places you could have put them over time. I don't know if they're just that hard to code. They should not be. I can't imagine that it's not a block program, just typical block programming. You're going to take this block, stick it in there. But for whatever reason, we don't get them very often. And I'm really glad to see that there's going to be 2 in this particular town. So that's exciting. I love that. Now, along with the 2 penthouse lots, we're also going to get a gym and a nightclub and a lounge and a park. And I think that's it. Oh, and I think also a vacation rental. So I think there's going to be 5 pre-made lots at least that you can knock down and put your own stuff there, right? So there's going to be 5 pre-made lots that you can quickly demolish and put things that you really do like in their place. But if you like pre-mades and you don't want to do your own building or pick out stuff to go there yourself, those 5 things are coming. Again, we get a lot of gyms and a lot of nightclub or bars or lounges because those are base game type lots, but those are coming. And another neat thing, the penthouses are really neat. And then, there is a new lot designation called, like a singles hangout. So it's like cats. It's like a cat hangout, but for lonely single Sims, right? And you can even put it on your house. So they'll come and hang out in your front yard. I'm not kidding. That's what it says. You can designate your house as a singles hangout. And I'm going to do that too. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make an old folks home. I have an old folks home somewhere and I'm going to pull it out or I'm going to make a new one. I'll make an old folks home and I'm going to designate it the singles hangout and have all my young single Sims come there and hang out at the old folks home. And I'm probably going to fill the old folks home all full of couples. Yeah. On top of that, all married and all coupled up, but all the singles are going to hang out there. And it's going to be kind of like that place. Isn't there like one of those old folks communities in Florida or something? And it has like the highest rates of VD in the nation. I can't remember, something like that. What's it called? Sunny Shoals or something? Hell, I don't know what it's called. It was called something. Maybe it'll come to me. I don't think so, but maybe. Oh, yes. I think it's called The Villages. It's called The Villages. So what is what I'm going to do? I'm going to create the villages in my game, and I'm going to make it a singles hangout lot, and I'm going to put like pineapples on everybody's door upside down. And anyway, so yeah, I do think that can be a lot of fun. I think it's kind of a neat thing that they're like, okay, well, we have a cat hangout lot and we have a dog hangout lot. So let's go ahead and get the third group of animals, singles, and we'll have them go and hang out there too. So anyway, I love it. I love it. Okay. The last thing that's actually listed is a group of new interactions that are venue based, right? Now, it kind of, the way it talks and the way I read it, it feels almost like, so is every venue going to have some sort of interaction that you can do in a romantic fashion? Or is it just the 4 that they listed on this list? I think it could go either way. It's probably going to be somewhere in the middle. So hopefully there's going to be more than these 4. And I did write them down here so that I would remember what they were. But I think it's going to be more than these 4 coming up, but probably not every venue. So like when you go to the vet, you guys aren't going to like, I don't know, clean up cat yak on the floor together or, clean up dog piss in the corner together or something like that at the vets. I don't think you're going to do that. But what you can do is when you're at the gym, you can show off fitness, or you can view art together at the museum, or you can watch the sky or view the stars outside or at a park, right? Yeah. Or you can do the seductive dance at a bar, nightclub, or lounge. Okay, so here's the deal. They all sound okay. They all sound okay, right? None of it, we can already show off fitness as a romantic interaction, right? Isn't that right? Yeah, we can already do that. I don't know that we can actually view art together at a museum and certainly not as a romantic interaction. But I don't know that that is much of a feature. And I really think watch the sky and view the stars. What I really think this is going to be is just laying on the ground, looking at the sky, which we can already do, right? Except that now you're going to get some sort of flirty buff or romantic buff or inspired. I think you already get an inspired buff. But in addition to the inspired buff, you're also going to be flirty now because you're doing it with the person you love, right? Maybe you'll say something like, the stars are in the sky and in their eyes, right? So that, and then you have the seductive dance at a bar, which I will be surprised if it's a couple's dance. Okay. Which again, if you're a romantic couple and you're going to dance together, Maxis, you're going to dance together. So I hope that this is actually dancing together, but I doubt it. I think it's going to be just like we have, some sort of Latin, salsa sort of inspired dance, just like we already have in game that the sim's going to do all by themselves in front of your sim or kind of vaguely in front of your sim, like maybe off to the side of your sim, and your sim's going to be kind of looking off over here and not really know what they're doing. But when it's all said and done, your sim will have some sort of like flirty buff that like, ooh, that was really quite a dance you did there. That was really sexy. I got a like great flirty buff now, let's go woohoo out here on this picnic blanket. So yeah, I mean, this is the last sort of feature they've listed here, and it's called both, venue interactions, flirt around town. And so I don't know that I think it's going to be that big a deal. It doesn't sound like that big a deal. And also I don't consider new gameplay where they just get a new moodlet, where there's some basic thing that we're already doing or that looks like what we already do, like lay on the ground staring at the sky, and then they get a new moodlet. And it's not a new moodlet. They just get a moodlet. Their moodlet changes. And so that's gameplay. So I don't really consider that something different. And different. That's what is the ultimate crux here, isn't it? Is this pack different enough from what we're already doing in game, romance-wise, to justify buying it, to justify the cost? Because for me anymore, that's what it comes down to. I've given up the whole like, is this worthy of the title expansion pack? Is this worthy of the title game pack? Is there enough here to justify calling this whatever they want to call it? Expansion pack, game pack, stuff pack, kit, whatever they want to slap on it as a title, I really don't care. At the end of the day, it comes down to, is there enough here and is it going to be different enough to justify $40? Because it's $40 in the United States. So is it going to be enough to justify to your average person whatever it costs in their country for what they're receiving? That's really the only thing that is of any importance to me or any concern. And honestly, right now, I'm not making any judgment on that. I'll be completely honest. We just don't know enough. We do have a real rundown here on paper of what this new pack is supposed to be. And it doesn't feel very full, does it? It doesn't feel very full. It doesn't even feel as full as a game pack. But a game pack of say 10 years ago. But at the same time, sometimes things on paper just don't come across well. It could be a whole lot different in game. And maybe it is going to play a whole lot different when we finally see some trailers, we finally see some gameplay, we finally see maybe a live stream from Maxis kind of going through stuff. Maybe it'll seem a lot different. Maybe it'll seem even worse. Maybe it won't work, right? Maybe it won't even work. You can never tell. So at the end of the day, I'm kind of reserving judgment on it. It goes on sale June the 27th. So in about a week from today, it goes on sale. And probably right before it goes on sale, a trailer will be released, like maybe Thursday morning of next week. A trailer will release, and maybe we'll have a little bit better idea. Although I'll tell you, half the time, the very first trailer Maxis or EA or whoever's making this shit puts out, it really doesn't seem to build the pack up very well. Like a lot of times you watch that first trailer and you think, that's it? Because that's it? And then later when it kind of gets into it, it starts to seem a little bit better. But that is coming on the 27th, and then there'll be about a whole month. Probably, yeah, like right at a whole month, 4 weeks of waiting before it releases on July the 25th. Now, this is all according to the leak, of course, but I think the leak's accurate. I do. I don't know how this person gets this information. I don't know why EA. I'm going to put a picture here of a sieve with water running through it. That's EA, apparently. Apparently, this is EA security because this is how much they leak, right? Apparently, the whole pack's leaked. The whole thing's leaked. But it should come out on July 25th. So in those 4 weeks, I'm sure we're going to learn and see a whole lot more. And that's when I'll start making my decision for myself. And I hope you'll make the decision in the meantime to hit like, subscribe, and notify. Please do. We'll have some more stuff in the interim. We'll do some more build videos and stuff like that, my typical stuff. And then as we get closer to the pack, maybe we can do some actual reviews of the pack itself or the trailers, stuff like that. Trailer. We always review the trailer a lot of times too. So maybe we'll review the trailer, see what it has to say for itself. But yeah, in the meantime, please hit like, subscribe, and notify. And as always, thank you for watching.